Hi everyone. Hello.
Hi.
Oh, make some noise for the Python 10 lightning talks. We can start. We have for the first slot the community announcement. No? Okay. Yeah, I have to confirm. So can someone make this announcement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Woo!
So I'm going to do one part of the announcement, which is going to be EuroPython. And if you know, EuroPython is basically like Python in Italy, but bigger and about the whole Europe. And this year is going to be in Basel, which I'm really excited for because I was actually born in Basel. It's quite cool. It's going to be from the 8th to the 14th of July. And CFP is open until 12th of May. And we are going to announce the tickets in about a week. The price should be the same as last year, but in a week you will know probably more. And it's similar format as PyCon Italy, but there's going to be 2 days of training and 2 days of sprints more. And you have 3 days of main conference, kind of like this. So I'm going to give mic to Alex, so he's going to announce another conference. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to do it? So if you are into data science, research, we are organizing this year EuroSciPy in Bilbao. Last year it was in Trento, and this year we are moving to Bilbao. The call for proposals is open until May 12, and it's going to be the first week of September. So the workshops are great. If you want to learn about NumPy, Pandas, scikit-learn, the workshops are really nice. Yeah, and the talks are quite interesting. They cover a wide range of topics in research and science. And yeah, and Bilbao is a great city to visit if you haven't been there. Yeah.
Cloudy as well.
Huh?
It's not that cloudy.
It's quite cloudy actually. But
Marketing, you know.
but next one.
Live. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm happy to announce that PyCon.de, I see some of you were PyCon.de in Karlsruhe in southern Germany. This year we're moved to Berlin. And the other nice thing is there was already a PyData Berlin conference, so we have teamed up. So it's no longer 2 conferences, it's one bigger conference in Berlin, Germany at the Cosmos. So we have 3 days of talks and tutorials, 2 days of sprints. The CFP is open, the tickets are on sale. Sorry, early bird is... if you're a student, there are 4 more early bird student tickets. So, and then, yeah, come by. Looking forward to proposals and, yeah, see you in Berlin.
Oh, okay.
Last one.
Oh,
Sorry. If you didn't have enough PyCon conferences in Europe, there's another one in Munich. It's called PyCon Web. So everything related with web development. It's going to be in the end of May. The program is already fixed. It's going to be in the Microsoft offices. They're actually quite nice. And, well, it's a walking distance.
How many days?
So 600 kilometers, maybe 15 days. Yeah, it's doable. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it for the community announcement.
Ok, 5 minuti. Okay.
Oh, you have.
So do you explain?
Okay, this is a lightning talk session, so we have to be fast, of course. And the rules is just one in the end. It's 5 minutes per slot. And I think we could play a game. So at the fourth minute, we have to applause this little. So try with me. Okay? No? Too much, yeah. Close. And then, in the end, we have to... Yeah, oh. Thank you. Okay, we are good to go. So you have 5 minutes, and you are Andrea Grandi, and you will talk about mentoring on Exercise.io. And go!
Hi everyone, yes, I'm Andrea Grandi, and I'm one of the many users and one of the many mentors on Exercise.io. What's this platform? So it's basically a website that you can join for free. It's absolutely free. You can join if you want to either learn a new language or if you want to teach someone an existing language. So let's have a look. So first of all, there are many languages available. For example, I joined to improve my Go skills, and later I decided to remain to kind of try teaching some Python to other people. So how does it work? I realized that the slides are cutting off a little bit. Let me see if I can. Okay. Better than nothing, at least you can read the text. So how does it work? So you choose a language. Well, I apologize, but in this case, suppose you know Python, you want to learn Ruby. So you complete some coding challenges. There are some exercises. Then you upload your solution. There will be either an automated test and someone for real that can help you. And then you succeed and you learn the new language. So let's have a look at an example. This is like the specification of an hello word. This is my really powerful implementation of the hello word. You can either have someone to review your solution, or you can use the automated test. Every exercise, even the hello word, has an automated test. So you can decide if you want to solve the exercise by yourself or if you want to be mentored. I suggest to be mentored because you meet other people and you can learn something new. So why you should be a mentor? Well, that's basically the point of the talk. So first of all, teaching is a powerful way of learning. When you want to tell someone something and you want to be sure that you're telling the truth. So you are double checking maybe things that you normally don't double check. It's a great way to give back to the community. You learned a lot from the community. Now it's time to give back. So you can share also your passion for a language with someone else who wants to actually learn it. Otherwise, they won't be there. You can meet other mentors. There is a dedicated Slack, so you won't be left alone even with mentoring. If you are not sure about providing an advice or a solution, you jump on Slack, you ask the other mentors, and they will help you to help someone else. And you can even live longer. Now, I'm not sure about that. I mean, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, but there is looks like there's a research, and there's a correlation between people who help others and people who live longer. So it could be a false correlation or not, I don't know. From my point of view, helping other people helps you to be more happy, so maybe happiness also gives you more life. How you become a mentor? If you want to join us, you can go to mentoring.exercise.io. You will find all the instruction. If you don't understand something or if something is not clear, you can ask me. So if you have any other question, you can ask me. I've written more words about why I decided to be a mentor. You can see on my blog. That's pretty much it. Thank you.
All right. That was fast. We didn't even use the small clap. The next, it's Jeremy. He will talk about using CPython master in a Jupyter notebook. You have 5 minutes, man. Not just for plug your adapter. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Time's running out. Come on.
Come on. Oh. All right. We have also the video. Maybe.
Okay, so I will start quick.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, no intro, there is no time for that. So the goal is to live on the edge and use CPython directly in Jupyter Notebook. So if you do this, it doesn't work. Okay. I'm using 3.7 now, but the idea is to use 3.8.alpha, whatever. And for that, there is one way is to take the GitHub repo, the
No.
CPython GitHub repo.
Sorry.
Just
Use the microphone.
yeah, but I would have to type. So, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right. So, first step is to clone the repo. So I'm not going to do this because it takes a while. So it's right here. The second step is to create a new Conda environment. So this is to keep things isolated into their own. Create CPython master Conda environment. Okay, it's going to be all right. Now we're going to activate it. Okay. Now the cool thing with Conda is that we have access to a lot of environment variables. So for example, we have the Conda prefix, and we are going to use this to configure the whole project. So basically, what it means that when we do the make install afterwards, it's going to copy all the files into the right environment. Okay, so let's look at the next step while this one is doing its thing. How many minutes?
Go, talk.
Okay,
You
so yeah, so this is a classic build and make install workflow. So for now, we are doing the configure. Okay, it's done. Make install. It's going to install it in the right Conda environment. I did it before, so hopefully it would be faster. All right. And meanwhile, we can look at how to wrap all of this stuff and put it into a Jupyter kernel. So Jupyter works with kernel specs. And here you see that, for example, I have a kernel for Python 3, C++, and also PyPy. And the idea is to have something like this, like it says CPython. I click on it, and I get access to my locally built CPython. So let's see. OK, it's done. I need to do a bit of magic like this. All right. Now I have access to OK. Python 3 points to the right version. Need to install the PyKernel module, which is going to bring a lot of stuff like PyZMQ to be able to have all of this kernel communication. And so now, since it's using pip, it's going to compile it. So it takes a little while. And then the idea is to install this kernel spec. OK, so maybe I can show you that meanwhile. OK. OK, so if you type this command, you get the list of all our kernels. That's the ones that were shown in the screen before here. All right, still compiling PyZMQ. OK, so all right. We have to be patient.
Oh.
Yeah. Plenty of time. OK, that's good. Yeah. OK, so then I can show you what.
2 minutes.
So a kernel spec is basically just a command with arguments. Here it says like it's going to take this executable and use the PyKernel launcher with a connection file, and that's how you start a kernel in Jupyter. OK, still. OK, almost there. All right. Now we need to. Yeah, Python. This one. All right, so I install as a CPython, and the display name will be CPython. All right, it says it's installed. I refresh the page, and now it shows up. Yeah, and if I click on it, I can do import sys, and then sys.version. And that's the one I just built right now. OK. All right, so that's it.
Whoa!
Thank you for the help.
Thank you.
Do you
Also
know
to the cache.
PyEnv? PyEnv is great.
Okay, for the next slot, we have TFU, your country founds OSS development. Ricardo will explain us what it is. Thank you, because I didn't understand nothing. Okay. Probably. Wave your hands. Yeah. Some magic will happen. Whoa!
Ooh.
Power.
Since you're a long-time speaker, you have 2 minutes.
Oh, come on. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
So, okay. So for the one of you which doesn't use Twitter, TFW is that feeling when your country funds open source development. So, who am I? Again, not important. So last year I had the chance to work with the Italian digital transformation team, which in Italian sounds like Team Digitale, which is a unit of the Italian government, which is tasked to make public services for citizens and businesses accessible in an easy manner. So, which is a nice way, a complicated way to say to fix the Italian public administration digital culture. So, I worked on the Docs Italia team with these people, and you may recognize some of them. And we built Docs Italia, which is a platform to host and share and build public administration documentation. And since you are all Pythonists, you may recognize that it sounds similar to something else, which is Read the Docs. We didn't write Docs Italia from scratch, but we forked Read the Docs, which, you know, most of the work was already done. So still, we managed to contribute a few things. We did 33 pull requests, 2/3 got merged, 10 closed, possibly bad ideas, 1 still open, waiting for review. And of the 22 pull requests merged, 10 were bug fixes, 6 were, this is a difficult word for me to pronounce, internationalization. Stuff, so we contributed the full Italian translation and fixed some localization tools. 6 were just code cleanups. We introduced one regression. Well, like I introduced one regression in Read the Docs. Thank you. Nothing scary, just a broken link. Mostly Jacopo Iacchi contributed full Ansible automation to install your own Read the Docs installation. We added 0 new features, so we didn't add any maintenance burden to the Read the Docs team. Well, we tried, but we failed. We tried to upgrade Elasticsearch support to 5.6, but we failed. But Google Summer of Code students succeeded to port Read the Docs to Elasticsearch 6. Sorry. Still, we learned some lessons. First thing, more important, is be part of the community, like participate on GitHub, on mailing list if available. Just like don't wait for a community to reach you, but reach you, the community. A fork is nothing more but a long-lived branch. So all the pains in maintaining it updated apply. And be a nice person and just use a base when you base again. So, more importantly, some of our taxes, like for Italian people, contributed to improve the Read the Docs. So, thank you. That's it. Thank you again.
Okay, big applause. So, thank you for the regression. And also for the job, okay. The next will be using lab testing for your production scenarios. I cannot understand your name, but you can present yourself. Okay, Fabrizio. Big applause again.
Okay. Ta-da.
All right.
So, how many of you had this thing? Where's my computer? Okay, I have so many laptops in production because of that. And the counterpart, obviously, is this one, too. Oops, what's going on here? It doesn't work. So, let me retry this.
Time is running out.
So, let me give you a bit of context. You write a function and it sucks. You need to refactor it, okay? Then you write a new function, which is new and improved. And you say, okay, but how can I manage to make it work? How can I check it? And so you have usually sort of this algorithm. Do you have unit tests? Yes. If yes, you can launch them. Otherwise, you need to cry a lot. And so you need to fix this, especially in production, because when you are in a production environment and you need to test things, you have a lot of trouble. Because maybe the code, you don't want to harm the users, you don't want to create anything that's wrong. And so how do you make this? How do you test things in production, in a production environment? Because unit tests, okay, they're for sillies. What about the real man? How do they test in production? And the solution is you have your two functions, you deploy both of them, and you execute them all together. Simple as that. Well, let's go more in detail. You have a control function, which is the one that is already in production, and the candidate one, aka Neo or the chosen one. And what you do is you execute both of them, and you get an outcome from all of them. Then what you do is you continue your path with the control function, which is the one that you already have in production, and you drop the other one. So it's easy. You just execute two functions at the cost of two functions. But then you can do nice things in this case, because you can have different outcomes. Like, for instance, what if the results of the two functions are the same? Well, in this case, you did a very good job, because you refactor your function, and it works exactly like the other one. And so you're happy. But then things might happen. So what happens if the functions do not match the results? Then you're going to be sad. But the thing is that you can log the fact that the two functions that you run are different. And in this way, you can examine the log and just see that the stuff is different. And so basically, in a nutshell, this is what lab testing is. You just execute two functions, the current one and the refactor one, and you check the results. As it is in production, no harm is done, because the code that you still run is the one in the control, and the other one is the one that you just need to throw away, but you can compare it. You can also use some variation, like test for a specific kind of users, for a date range, versions, configurations, distribution, and you can also decide what to check. You made the comparison, so you're in charge of that. Obviously, you can do this on your own, or if you're lazy like me, you can just pick a library. So there's the original one that introduced this concept to me, and then there's the Python equivalent, and the other one for your lame colleagues that use silly languages. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Galileo Galilei would be proud. Okay. The next, it's salary exporter with Prometheus from Todaro. Make some noise, come on. We have to cover the Dango stuff, so we can make more noise for more time, but... Oh, no, it's better now. It's good. It's fast.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Fabio Todaro, head of DevOps at Valmani. Sorry for my English, but I'm not used to talk in English in public. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about Prometheus Celery Exporter. First of all, what is Celery? I don't know if every one of you know what is Celery. In Avalmani, we rely on Celery for all background and some real-time task on our platform. So Celery is an asynchronous task queue job queue based on distributed message passing, and so we are so based on Celery that we had a problem. We are daily handling hundreds of thousands of tasks a day. So it was really difficult for us to monitor and see if something was going wrong. So actually, that's what's inside our infrastructure. So we are the API gateway or a cron job that is a Celery producer. So the part of the code that produces a Celery task. And this task is sent to to Redis, in our case, that is our Celery broker, and then is took by one of the worker based on the queue and executed. Then, in some case, the result is saved on Redis, and we had this issue. We would like to monitor the task sent rate, the tasks received rate, or the start rate, or the success failure rate, or the retry revoke, or maybe the runtime of the task to monitor if there was some task that was not optimized, or the latency. So how much time a task had to wait before it was taken by a worker and executed, or the queue on which each task is run. So we already used Prometheus for monitoring our infrastructure and looked for a Celery exporter already made. And we found this Celery Prometheus exporter by 0K. But we found some issue after some time running it in our development environment. We found out that it uses an object, the state object from Celery, and this object leaks memory. So it was not good to use it in our production system because we were seeing that the RAM was growing really fast, so it was not so good. And another thing that we found out is that this exporter is not respecting Prometheus naming standards, so it was not so good, not good also this, and it doesn't export the information about queues. So we decided to write our Celery exporter, and we rewrote completely the old one. And this is what it looks like on Grafana. So you have charts about the scheduling rate, so you can see easily the failure, the pending, received, the retry, revoked, started, success rate of all tasks. And then on the bottom you have separation by task name. You can filter by task name, or using the new feature of Grafana, filter directly by queue. So I can select a queue and see all the tasks of that queue running. Then you have current worker count, top 5 tasks for each status. The heat map for runtime rate, so you can see easily the runtime rate of each task and the latency rate. How does it work? We already had a separated namespace in Kubernetes for Prometheus servers and monitoring. So we have Prometheus servers in Grafana, and the Celery exporter, this is our pieces, is connecting to Redis Celery broker to scrape these informations. And this is the end.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Now, Mr. Galante, I don't know your name, because there's an N, Mr. N. Okay, so there is Ming and SQL Alchemy analogies. And
Analogies.
something. Analogies. Understand well. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see anything. I think
No.
not.
No.
Oh, now you can. It's another screen. Can I duplicate? Let's see. Let's do. Okay. All right, awesome. So this is going to be a little improvised because basically I've been working on this just yesterday and today. So basically what I wanted to show you is that you have basically, if you have different databases in your application, like it's the case at my company, you might have data that needs to be stored in different, because, well, basically you can have data that you need to store in a SQL kind of database, like MySQL or Postgres, and then you might have some data that you need to store on an object database like MongoDB, because maybe you need the write to be faster, and so you basically put them on MongoDB. You can have many different reasons to do that. The point is, what we have a problem right now. Well, I mean, we don't have a problem. We basically want to move some of the data that we have from one kind of storage to, so from SQL to MongoDB, and that's a situation that maybe. Okay.
I can help you, yes.
Okay, oh, awesome, thank you.
You can write. Oh.
Okay, so basically, if you need to move some data from SQL to NoSQL, so from MySQL, for example, to MongoDB, you have different options. But if you can use basically two libraries. You can use SQL you can use SQL Alchemy, which is basically an ORM that allows you to declare your models, for example, this way. Okay, so for example, in my demo application, you have three models: the user model, device model, and login model. And basically, this maps to your database tables and allows you to do something like this, for example, and basically whenever, I'm not sure this will work, but let's see, yes. So basically, these 5 lines of code allow you to read from the database your login and do stuff on it if you want to. And what I've been doing basically yesterday and today is writing a library that allows you to basically do this and migrate data from one storage to the other. And right now, you see I have on the SQL database 5 logins. And next time I run the program, basically they are going to be replicated on MongoDB too. So basically, this way, if you need to move data from SQL to MongoDB, and you don't want to do migration that goes, needs time, and maybe you need to do stuff like you need to keep working with the data. Basically, this way you can simply add like 2 lines of code to your application, and the data all the data will be migrated real time anytime you execute the function without changing the API or changing the data that you're showing to the user. This is still very beta, and I've been working on it, as I said, for 2 days. But the library that lets you do this stuff, it's called Jackhide. I came up with this name basically. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde pushed together, which is what I'm doing with SQL Alchemy and Ming. It's already on PyPy, and if you want to download and start playing with it, you're welcome to contribute. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Big applause. The next one, it's Strawberry, GraphQL in Python. Big applause, please, again, because we like to applause. Yeah.
No. Hi, everyone. I'm going to be really quick because this is about 70 slides, and yeah, I have 5 minutes. So yeah, I'm Patrick. I'm backend engineer. I'm like Swiss Italian, and I'm also one of the organizers of PyCon Italy, and this is annoying. Yeah, anyway, today I'm going to talk about Strawberry, which is a library for GraphQL, but I'm going to check, is anyone using GraphQL here? Just one person. This is something I don't like. Anyway, what is GraphQL? So GraphQL is a new technology. To explain it, just let's go back for a moment. We used to have simple web pages when building websites. So we used to have just HTML documents. We used to navigate using links, and then the old page would refresh. But then we started building applications, and the requirements changed. And we started having single-page applications, mobile application, and so on. So we started creating APIs to communicate between backend and clients. And we used REST, which is basically using HTTP and JSON to exchange data between like a server and an application. So you would do get to get data, patch to change data, delete to delete, and so on. Yeah. Over time, we started building like more complex application, and REST didn't really scale. So we started looking for something better. And that something better might be GraphQL, at least it seems to be. What it is, it's a query language where you can define what data you want. You send it to the backend, and the backend is only going to return the data you want. And it can be used with HTTP. There is only one single endpoint, so you don't have to remember every single endpoint there are. And you can request any data you want. So you do a post to GraphQL, and then you send the data, the request. And this is a query with GraphQL. So in this case, we are sending a query called movies. And we're getting a list of films where the title in English language and then the name of the directors. And the response would look something like this, which is basically the JSON representation of what we ask for. And that's really cool. Why is it better? It's declarative, so you only ask for the data that you want. So you don't have underfetching, overfetching. Is it typed? So every GraphQL has got a schema with all the type definitions. So you know that, for example, the title is going to return a string, and that's not optional, and so on. It's type documenting because you have like types. So you also get like IDs where you can get all the documentation, you can do tests, and more. Yeah, Python. We have a few solutions for Python. I'm going to talk about one that I'm working on because it's not really used a lot. So I'm trying to bring GraphQL more in the Python world. So it's called Strawberry, and why I made it. So first reason was to do something fun and learning new stuff in Python because I never did a library, so that's one of the reasons. So also want to experiment with new features. Yeah, and I want to improve the ecosystem because, I mean, we used to have one library, now we have 3, 4, but still it's early days for Python. So how does it work? It's based on data classes. Data class is basically like a name tuple, but using Python type hints, and they generate init methods, rep, and so on. And we can use the same approach for GraphQL types. So let's see an example. So the same schema we had before, we can translate it to Python. As you can see, it's basically the same. So you use the decorator called type, and then use the type hints to define the fields, and so on. Then you glue everything together using strawberry.schema, passing the query. And there's just a small demo here, which is basically, right now, this is a Star Wars API implementation using Strawberry. And as I said, you can specify the data that you want. That's the same. Let's see, create it, for example. And it's going to return only the data that you wanted. So it's fully declarative, and you're only asking for what you need. Yeah, this is the roadmap for version 1. It's almost there. We just need to support a couple of things and make it stable, which is probably the hardest part. And if you want to know about GraphQL, there's going to be a talk tomorrow, not by me, but someone else, Marcin. It's going to be tomorrow at 11:45. And yeah, thank you. If you have any questions.
Whoa. Whoa. That was really fast. Really. But, sorry? Okay, the next one, it's PyCon Relay Race. No? Switch, sorry, healthcare? No? Back, black. Ah, black, all the...
Format option you want.
Oh, thank you. From...
We need another MC.
No, really, I'm a problem. I have a problem, yeah. Michele. From Michele, thank you.
I also have stickers if you want. Doesn't look like it.
Okay. You see,
Okay.
it works.
Yes. Okay. So, hi everyone. Hi everyone. My name is Michele De Simoni. I am an Italian machine learning engineer. I work at Zurotech, but here I'm not here to talk to you about machine learning or anything like that. I'm here to talk to you about the best formatter you will ever need in Python. So, of course, as the good old Ford said, you can have any formatter you want as long as it is black. So, what is black? Basically, black. The idea behind black is that you don't need it is a formatter for your code in order to make it beautiful. But the real thing that its its selling point is that it does not have any options to configure it. It's opinionated as much as you can. It basically gives you like some sensible default. And the main idea behind it is that you won't ever need anything else again. And if you try it, you won't ever go back because it is actually like probably the best one out there. So how does it work and why it is better than any others? Well, the idea behind Black is that they did not choose like some of the options that they do, like the style that they enforce was actually the result of a research. And the idea behind the research was to actually follow the Zen of Python, so readability, and of course sensible default. So the idea behind the sensible default, for instance, that they break away from the PEP8 and they push the line length up to, for instance, like 89 characters, because they saw that if you increase the line count to 89 characters, then the file gets shrunk by a lot, and they become way more readable. And now we don't have like a very small screen anymore. So maybe let's increase that damn line number. So, but how does Black do what it does? Well, like YAPF, if you're maybe even out of PEP8, you give it like an input Python file, and if everything goes correctly, so if you don't have any syntax error inside it, Black will then generate the blackned version of the file. Black is available from the Python package repository, so you can install it by doing pip install black. And yesterday it was admitted as an officially sponsored project from the PSF. So now you will find it at the Python /black on GitHub. And it will also be used in some of the standard library package, like data classes, and another one which I can recall. So even the standard library will start using it. I would like to show you some of the things it does. Oh, maybe this is very okay. Give me a sec. Okay, here you go. On the right, you have the blacked version. On the left, you have the original input. What you see here is, for instance, that one of the things Black does is it automatically converts. Like, for instance, if you have a single quote, and then you have like a double quote, you can choose to always use one type of quote. Actually, by default, Black uses the double quote. Other things it does is lets you it formats you everything nicely. Like here, you see some which I believe is one space indentation, which is an abomination, even worse than a Google two-space indentation. If you ever work on a Google project, then you will hate it. Other thing it does, which I really like, is that, for instance, when you have a function with a lot of arguments, it will simply put them each one on in a new line like that, and also in the last one it will give you a comma. This comma actually makes your diff on GitHub shorter, and that is okay. And that is a way to basically minimize the diff. So use Black. Woo!
Some pressure.
It's even wearing black clothes. That's nice.
The next one will be healthcare and event-driven architecture with Async.io.
What's the name?
There's no name.
This talk has no name.
No. Mr. X.
It's not
Where
here.
is it? It's
Think
not here.
We can
Okay.
skip. Not today. Next one. Brewing beer.
We got an interesting topics, to me, at least. Brewing beer with Python from Marco.
Okay. Who likes beer? Of course you do. So if you don't like beer, you can still enjoy the presentation because this is going to be about over-engineering. If you do like beer, my suggestion is that you learn about beer, ingredients, brewing, and whatnot. So let me walk you through brewing first. Ingredients, 4 main ingredients: water, malted cereal like barley or wheat, hops, and then yeast. These are the 4 main ingredients. Process for brewing, this is something you could do in your own kitchen, for example. So you start with mashing, you put your malt together with warm water, you do a little bit of a porridge, then you bring it up to boil, you add the hops, cool it down to room temperature, and you add the yeast finally. This is going to take a few hours and then a couple of weeks for fermentation. So you have the ingredients, you have the process. What else do you need? You need a recipe. And this is an example of a rather complex recipe. So you have a lot of ingredients, a few steps, a lot of things going on. But in principle, if I give you this recipe and you're a brewer, you could replicate the results. And in this particular case, the results were actually quite good. So I've been doing this for a while, and I feel quite comfortable in coming up with my own recipes. But I still like to go online and see what other people are doing. The ingredients that they're using, and there are a lot of online communities, forums and whatnot, where people share ideas. So from this point of view, the brewing community is pretty much open source. So people who share recipes online, they're nice, and people who share recipes online in a standardized machine-readable format, they're very, very nice. So now that I have a machine-readable format, I want to automate the process. So I have a bunch of websites where I know I can find recipes. I write a little script with requests, I download a lot of stuff in XML, and then convert it back into a readable format for myself. So I ran my script, I let it be for a while. Now I have 80,000 beer recipes. And I'm not going to read them because they are 80,000. So how can I analyze 80,000 beer recipes? Well, nowadays, if you don't talk about neural networks, people don't take you seriously. So let's talk about neural network. That's a neural network, input, output, and some magic happens in the middle. In particular, because the recipes are sequences, you want to use a neural network that works with sequential data. So recurrent neural networks are, in particular, useful for sequential data. If you unroll the network, you see the actual sequence. And because I do text analytics mainly, I want to apply models that I know work with text analytics, in particular, long, short-term memory. So it gets complicated, but anyway, we are using Python. So in Python, we have many, many options for working with neural networks, and things can be relatively simple. For example, if you use Keras, you just write down a few lines of code and you get your neural network going. So now I have an AI system, basically, that generates random beer recipes. Sometimes it's good to take a step back and ask a couple of questions. So first of all, is the beer any good? Not yet. Second question, are we taking the fun out of it? Yes, a little bit. So for the time being, I guess, I'm going to stick to manual labor. And now that I have your attention, I also want to invite you to London. And you can buy me a beer in London or here later. And yeah, direct flights from Basel if you are in EuroPython that week. Thank you very much. Woo!
Thank you. Peter. Okay, Next one will be PyClean. Cancellare il bitcode per tutti, punto esclamativo. You! From Peter, by the way.
Anyone here who does not understand Italian? Okay, let's stick to English. Okay, thanks.
You try.
What is this? Oh, what is this? Ah, sorry. Screen. Ah, screen. What is this? Sharing. Devices. I do this mirror, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right on. Okay. Thanks. So I'll talk you through PyClean. That's well, a simple tool that does one simple thing. It cleans something for Python, obviously, and what it does is, well, it's a tool that cleans Python bytecode, and it comes in 3 flavors. It comes for Python 2, Python 3 for PyPy, and if you are running a Debian distro, you have it installed and you have probably never used it, because usually Debian maintainers use it. It comes with Python minimal or Python 3 minimal. And well, if you don't happen to know what bytecode is, this is a quick intro. I won't go in any deeper. It's just actually the result of what Python does. The Python compiler, yes, the compiler, compiles your Python source code to bytecode, which is actually ops code for the Python virtual machine, and the ops code is then executed by the virtual machine, Python virtual machine. And this bytecode is stored in files, and these are these PYC files you may have seen already. And for Python 3, you've got a Dunder PyCache folder. And well, this is obviously something that when Debian maintainers create deb packages, they don't want to have this in their packages. That's probably the motivation why they built this. Yeah, and unfortunately, there are 3 flavors, as I mentioned before, and that means there are 3 times the same code. And unfortunately, also, this is only available, obviously, on Debian, for Debian, and it's not available for Mac and not for Windows. And yeah, we want to have this on Windows too, right? So everyone uses Windows, and some guys do have Macs. Nobody uses, well, some do Debian. And then, so I started to clean this up. I took this, and I put this in a single repo and started to consolidate it. Yes, so this is what the Debian maintainer would do, would just run Py3 clean, because this works for Python 2 and Python 3 alike, and before packaging. And there is one thing there are some things that are actually broken with this. So there is now finally a package, PyClean, that you can, as a Windows user or a Mac user, you can install. So you run this pip 3 or Python 3.7 -m pip install PyClean, and then you have it, but it won't run. It will run in a way, but it will break, because there's no, there will be an input error, because there are Debian dependencies. It runs on Debian only, and yeah. It won't work for Python 3, and there's obviously code duplication. There are no tests there, because it's just script from a maintainer, hacked code. And there's obviously limited benefit, because it's only doing bytecode deletion. So what the heck? So how could we use it, actually? We could use it because I want to help developers. I'm a developer myself. So I want to have this cleaned up. Probably a few of you care about it. I care about it. And Yeah, so it would look like this, but you can do this find and remove thing, and so, but you can have it like this, which is the depths, and then happy do this. Game over. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, thank you. The next one would be How Big Booking.com Scammed Me, Coming to PyConX, by Mark Garcia. That would be fine, yeah. It's not. Che ti è successo? Big applause.
I just wanted to start saying that I know this is a Python conference, and I know that in Italy is not usual to complain, but just bear with me because this talk is about me complaining. There are many dark sides on the travel industry. We couldn't just go to this morning tweet about Travis Oliphant, creator of NumPy, SciPy, that he arrived to his hotel for PyCon US and he didn't get his room. Okay, there are also like many tricky things, like when you are going to these websites that they compare the prices and that, and you are saying like, yeah, I'll get the cheapest price from the cheapest agency. What they do basically is see which agency is paying them more money. They hide all the cheapest ones, and they compare that one with the most expensive. But this is not what I want to talk about. Actually, I want to talk about more recent, like when I was excited about going to PyConX. Okay, I went to book my tickets. The rooms in this hotel were already sold out. So I just went to a popular website. I found a hotel that looked kind of decent. I specified all my data, including the check-in time. And just after paying, I received an email saying that I need to pay 40 euro more because my check-in time was too late. So I was guessing for a second, like, oh, this company is actually messaging me all the time, like recruiters from this company for Python positions. So they are probably implementing all these websites and all these things in Python. So I guess, like, let's try to see what's like the booking algorithm. I said, like, yeah, that's probably something like this. You have the hotel price, then you have the hotel price with booking. That is like you get 40 euros more. So what is interesting is that Python has something that, in general, we really like, that Python is very readable, is very transparent and very honest. Okay, so you can really see here in this code how things are being implemented, but I was like, no, I think that's not really how it must look like in their code. So they're like, probably something more like this. You have the price just like, and then you say like, yeah, but this price is with booking. So you just execute and the 200 become 240. And yeah, it's like super easy to implement that. You just need to implement a decorator that increases the price. But it's still a bit like, no, surely there are better ways. So I said like, no, better that with booking. And then you say my hotel price is 200. And yeah, you come here, you execute, and yeah, you can still get the 240 because it's with booking. And this is extremely easy to implement. Also in Python, you just got a context manager that increases the price of the hotel. There are even better things. You can just have any booking hotel class, and you just set the price to 200, and you still get the 240. That's what Python is really helpful with descriptors. You create a class, and you can set properties and the setters, and you say every time you set a price, you get like 40 euros more. Okay, they're like, no, let's get really like into the cool things. Like, let's get a meta class. So I create my hotel class with a booking meta class. And I'm setting the price to 200, and I'm going to retrieve the price that is again 240. And the other thing is like, yes, still, but I'm not convinced. So I say like, well, that's just the code of the meta class. That's quite clear. I say like, yeah, let's do something like, why not that? Like, that's really sneaky, like the website. Like, you really go here, it's like price 200, and that. Can we do that, actually? I don't know. It's like tricky. I assume you can do that if you go to the CPython code and you override the assignment operator. But I must admit that I really didn't want to do that, and I didn't want to also do like tricky things. I mean, it's literally working. So yeah, I just implemented a thread that is just like looking for this variable and changing the value. So yeah, that was my experience and my lightning talk. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks.
Stand-up comedy at PyCon. Yeah. So we have PyCon NA, and why it's different from the others? By?
I have to do
Chuk.
the mirror thing as well.
Is
Okay.
it right?
Give me 1 second. Just 1 second, yeah. If I can find my mouse, okay. Settings, yeah. Pressure. Mirror. Yes. Oh, Mac is making my life difficult. Okay, cool. Yeah, right. Yeah. So, I have been to PyCon NA just a couple of months ago, and why it's different, I will show you the pictures why. First, it's in February, and it feels like a summer holiday, and it's 30 degrees, sunny all the time, can't complain that. And yeah, half of the conference are brilliant students. They are crazily amazing. They give lightning talk. They give talks. They talk to us. They talk about their dreams. Like I've never really meet young people as optimistic and have big dreams like them. So it's really good. And we are so super happy. And yeah, the conference run in a very chill Namibian time, which is in a good way because we do have a conference schedule, but it's always changing because the time is always changing. Things could be, half an hour later, it's fine, just chill, and yeah, anything could happen. Also, we have the funny dress code. That's my friend Sandrine, also from London, traveling with me, and she's dressing in a traditional Namibian dress, which is super fancy. I only got to wear the hat, but it's also very fancy. We socialize with the locals, and then we have a trip to the local area. We have, we went to a wet market, so they have meats that's there. They have a goat skull that a guy is having an axe and crack it open. It's too graphic, I don't put it there. And there are worms just on the market, and you can buy the meats. They just grill it there. You can just eat it. And also at night, we went to a place that there's an open mic night, so they welcome us. They let us go to the stage. Don't know what we are doing. Like now, I'm giving a lightning talk, but I'm half don't know what I'm doing. I have too much wine at lunch. We went there and then we give some poems in our own language. I bet they may not understand it, but they're very happy. They welcome us. It's very cool. And also, it's very good in gender diversity. Half of the conference are women, which is rare in the tech conference. And then they are super bright and smart as well. They go to, learn about data science. They want to use them at work. They learn very quickly. It's really good. Also, we are on the newspaper. We are, you can see on the right-hand side, introduced Python in Namibia. So yeah, we got some local attention. Also, we put the sticker at the Tropical of Capricorn. So if you go to the Tropical of Capricorn, look for the PyCon NA sticker. It's right there. You can see I'm pointing at it. It's right there. Look for it. You won't get any prize from me, but yeah, look for it. So we also write a giant PyCon NA. I'm sure it won't be there because it's a dead set. It's only sand. But if you're still there, take a picture for me, please. I want to see what happened. Also, we have a tie that got flat, so we have to change the tie. But of course, we are programmers. We do it in a code review style. So some people you can see looking at the menu, and some people are really doing it. So we are pair programming, but pair tire fixing. So it's a bit but it's teamwork. It's well done. We changed the tire. We are good to go. So, and there's so much more fun stuff. So yeah, if you want to experience the same amazing things with me, just pay attention to the website, and I think later they will announce the conference next year. And Yeah, and also, if you want to go to Africa and you don't want to wait for next year, you can go to PyCon Africa in Ghana in August. I'm sure it will be amazing as well. So, yeah, you can talk to Danielle if you are interested, because, like, yeah, he knows more than me about it. So, yeah, good.
Thank you. So, yeah. The next one is a race, not of Formula 1, but by relay. So PyCon relay race by Anton Cáceres. Yeah, Cáceres.
Do we have sound here? Does it work? No. Well, if not, the microphone can. Checking sound. Looks like sound doesn't work, but you can hear me here, right? Good. Yeah. So I'm without sound. So start. Let's go.
Go.
Hi everyone. Cool to see you here. Today I'm going to talk about the PyCon relay. It's something special you have never seen before. I'm pretty sure of that. It all started at PyCon.de 2016, which, by the way, was organized thanks to this wonderful Italian community, which gave me some tips. At that event, we wanted to bring some international spirits to the event, and I had an idea. I made a video call with PyCon Hong Kong that was happening at the same time. So we cheered each other up, the audience greeted each other. Some people in this room actually have been there, I remember. It was a pretty cool experience. I loved it, but it was forgotten. Until a few years later, in August 2018, I was contacted by the organizer of PyCon Odessa, that girl next to me there. They had a problem to bring this international spirit to the event, and then I thought, well, that was a good idea back then, but there was no other event happening at the same time. So, if you don't know where is Odessa there, it's not exactly the center of the world, so I wanted to bring some international spirit there, and since there was no other conference happening, but there was one meetup happening, our meetup in Munich, I thought, why don't I record a video greeting and just play it there? I'm not sure if we have sound because that's sort of critical. 3, 2, 1. Cheers, Odessa Pi! Greetings from Pi Munich. That was how it all started. Could you hear that? Good, very well. Then I went to Odessa. I was feeling like a post pigeon flying with a secret postcard with a video greeting. I played it there. It went really well. People were happy. And I thought, well, we should continue that. We should record another one. And then I knew that there will be one at, there will be a conference I'll be attending in PyCon San Sebastian. So we recorded another one. I will not play it to you, but we did it. That's it. That's all. And then I was totally obsessed with this idea of PyCon relay. I was feeling like the Olympic athletes was going with the fire somewhere. And when I was going to San Sebastian, I thought to make it even more dramatic, I'll go on my motorcycle there, and I played it there. People loved it again. And the next stop was New York. I flew to New York, but actually the plane landed at Boston because the pilot was total troll. So it was like, it was pretty difficult, but I had a talk next morning, like in 8 hours. So I took an Uber from Boston to New York and then to Philadelphia where it was actually happening. And I did it. I played it, and then I didn't feel like an athlete or pigeon. I felt like freaking Prometheus. Then I went back to Belgrade, and I played another one for Belgrade. They loved it, and we recorded one for Slovakians. Then I went to Slovakia. There was no drama. I went with the car, got some hitchhikers, was a good time. But in Bratislava, there was a trouble. The trouble was that I didn't know what will be the next conference. So the problem is there are two cool conferences, and I love both. Maybe you can guess which. One is PyCon Austria, or PyDays Vienna, and the second is this one.
Are we ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Greetings, PyCon Italia!
Thank you so much. Now, I'm really low on time, but now I'm here. It was a nice trip, and guess what we have to do now? And the reason I knew it has to be Italy, was because the next conference I'll be attending is PyCon Web, the conference in Munich that we organized, that originated based on the tips I got here in Italy 4 years ago. So it's kind of a loop closing now, from Munich through the whole world, finishing again in Munich. So, dear friends, can you please tell now cheers to PyCon Web? And then one of, maybe you can say have a nice conference, greetings from PyCon Italia. Okay. All right? Okay. Please come closer here. We have just one try, it's a 5-minute lightning talk. So remember, cheers to PyCon Web, greetings from PyCon Italia, have a nice conference. Ready? Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go!
Cheers to PyCon Web! Greetings from PyCon Italia and have a great conference.
Thank you very much! Thank you! Yes, 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 yes!
I'm done. This is the last one, so I will say game over.